Hello. So we are here to start our Museum as a Toolbox symposium. Dear participants, I'm Maarin Ektermann. I'm head of education and public programs here in Kumu. And I'm really glad to welcome you here on this beautiful Saturday morning. Little opening words about generally education as a system. We hear nowadays constantly that education must be creative, engaging, learner-centered, etc. Participation in every field, actually, is definitely current must-have. And at the same time, the neoliberal pressure on educational system, especially on higher education, is placing keywords like cost efficiency, predictableness of outcomes, measurable results, and centralizations at the center. So as a response from one side to the demand for excitedness, and from the other side as a counter-reaction to bureaucratization of formal education, other sites than classrooms are becoming more and more important as places for potential learning. Although learning has always happened not only in formal system, there is a new wave in recent years of all kinds of educational experiments and freshly gained enthusiasm from bringing indirect learning under attention. Those attempts are carried by different agendas, being either critical towards dominant attitudes, trying to instrumentalize education and art and creativity, or trying to make those demands appear as natural. In the midst of all this happening, art museums have to decide their responses, taking into consideration specific tasks to preserve and to contextualize art for the future generations and their mission to work with wide audiences. In museum context, authorship and something called artistic quality are still very much at the center of activities. This determines museum into certain position, both in the art field and in society at large. Although museums as public institutions have been opening up from something elitist to wider audiences, and despite the fact that the idea what an art museum can be has expanded since the second half of 20th century a great deal, it seems that more is needed, and that brings us to questions like the one that has brought us here today. How can museums become interactive toolboxes and socially relevant spaces? I'm glad to welcome all of you in this symposium in Kumu in order to learn about different experiences and know-hows, meet colleagues and youth interested in art museum and willing to spend their time and energy here with us. It will be quite an intense day, and I want to thank Mariann Talvistu, Kumu public program curator, for putting it all together. I'm also very happy to welcome our partner organizations from Translocal Network, and we are glad to be part of that discussion circle and this project that is for us another push to think more thoroughly about museum as a toolbox. Thank you, and I